welcome to another episode of Dallas Watch. Today, we're going to discuss Proposition 7. What is Proposition 7, you ask? Proposition 7 was one of 10 propositions that was put on the Republican primary ballot recently. Is one of 10. And this particular one reads, let's read it to you. It says, Texans should protect and preserve all historical monuments, artifacts, and buildings such as the Alamo Cenotaph and our beloved Alamo, and should oppose any reimagining of the Alamo site. For those that don't know what a cenotaph is, that's spelled C-E-N-O-T-A-P-H. We'll put a picture of it up there. But it's an empty tomb, essentially, is what it is. And it was put up there to honor those that were killed, died in the Alamo defenders who, once they were killed, they were burned, they were cremated in an open field, and their ashes just went to the wind. Over the years, they found bone fragments and such as that, but you can Google that and find out what it is. But the key word where I hung on to, even though I'm a big fan of the Alamo, is all historical monuments. And as you probably know by now, history is my passion. Which is kind of interesting because I live in Dallas, and Dallas is not a preservation city. Dallas likes to build. That's a good thing. I'm not saying it's bad. The developers are good people. But I think with a little imagination, they could keep some of the older buildings. They should have been able to keep some of the older buildings. I'm going to put some of the older buildings up here on the screen. You can see a couple of them. The architecture that they were building in the late 1800s, early 1900s was just magnificent. It was just beautiful. In fact, I'll show you some pictures of some. I might put a picture of this book up there. I picked this up a couple of months ago. It's got some absolutely beautiful pictures of some of the structures and the buildings in Dallas that have since been torn down. A couple of them are still up, like Big Red. The building we're in now is one. And many others, but still a lot has gone, and that's sad news because they could have been redone and they could have been turned into lofts, they could have been turned into office buildings or whatever. And Dallas has been tearing them down since about the 1920s. That's about when they really started getting into this. Now there's a lot of historical organizations in Dallas, but for whatever reason, they haven't been very successful. I don't mean to toot my horn, but I humbly submit that probably so far I've been the most successful preservationist in a sense, okay? In a sense that I maybe have caused some attention to be on this. Historic preservations are kind of by nature, historic preservationists, by nature are kind of quiet, and I don't say go along to get along. They'll let their thoughts be known, but they're not highly aggressive and they're not confrontational. But I am a little more than that. Now, I'm going to put the website up here too. The returnlee@leepark.org is up there. We work to save Robert E. Lee, and young young soldier from Lee Park. We were unsuccessful in that? Maybe. I'll give you an update on this. We might come back. There's a possibility. We were in appeals court, the Fifth Circuit Court of Appeals in Dallas. I've got that lawsuit going. Fifth Circuit Court of Appeals in Dallas on February 4th. Court of Appeals, you've seen pictures of the Supreme Court of the United States. I think they have 11 justices or whatever. In these appeals courts, you got 3 justices that sit up there, and one side makes its case, the other side makes its case, and the judges now start asking questions. City attorney for Dallas got up there. He wasn't quite prepared, and he was being a little bit snarky. Probably not that bad, but his attitude could have been a little bit better. And the judge reached down and said, if you lose in this court, and when it goes back to court, to district court, and you lose there, the remedy will be to bring Lee back. So a judge left it open. It's not out of the realm of possibility. Also working to, I don't know if you've ever been, there's a cemetery in downtown Dallas called Pioneer Cemetery. It's right near City Hall. The first cemetery in Dallas, graves from the 1850s, maybe even the 1840s. If you walk and look at some of those tombstones, almost every tombstone has the name of somebody, a street is named after them here in Dallas. It goes that far back. We put together a group called Pioneer Cemetery Alliance. And we're going to try to raise funds. We're going to try to take over that. Well, we can't take it over. It's not an attack, but we're going to ask the city to give us that cemetery and let us take care of it. And we're going to build it back up, make it look pretty, make it a tourist attraction where people can come and see, who the Dallas city fathers were and their families and where they are now. But the Dallas. Well, let me tell you this Proposition 7 again. Let me bring that up. Again, let me repeat it to you, and we may put it up there. It says Texans should protect and preserve all historical monuments, artifacts, and buildings such as the Alamo Cenotaph and our beloved Alamo, and should oppose any reimagining of the Alamo site. Countywide, here in Dallas, in the primary, again, it was just a Republican primary, Donald Trump, a very popular president right now, at least amongst the Republicans, he received 79,497 votes, or 92% of the vote, of all the people running for the Republican primary for president. Proposition 7 received 83,616 votes, fully 4,000 more votes than Trump, got 97% of the vote, 97% statewide in the entire state, which is a lot more red than Dallas. Trump received 1,889,130 votes, 94%. Proposition 7 received 1,937,345 votes, or 98%, fully 50,000 more votes than Trump did. So surely, the Proposition 7 is more popular in the city of Dallas than Donald Trump. And that's the way it is. Now, given that, Dallas, the media in Dallas seems to always be at odds with us. And they don't seem to appreciate art. When these things were being torn down, and they didn't say a word. When Lee was being taken away, when Lee was a beautiful work of art done by a renowned sculptor, and it should have stayed where it was just as public art. But nobody from the media would defend it. In fact, they were deriding it and they were doing what they could to get it out. One of them is Robert Wolanski with the Dallas Morning News. And now there is this movement within Dallas, and this is where you slap your head. There's this movement in Dallas to preserve an old gas station. We'll show a picture up there too. This old gas station is in West Dallas. It was the gas station owned by Clyde Barrow of Bonnie and Clyde fame. It's owned by Clyde Barrow's father. They want to preserve that, and they want to give it a historical designation. It is just ludicrous because these guys were thug killers and mass murderers. We're going to cover that in an episode. That'll be the next episode of Dallas Watch. Come back and see me then. You guys have a good day. So long and bye-bye. I really appreciate you tuning in to watch the show. Please hit the like and share button and share it with your friends and family. If you'd like to give us some feedback, we'd love to hear from you. Just email us at dallaswatch2020@gmail.com. Also, please consider a tax-deductible donation. You can go to www.returnlee.org. And also, don't forget, tune in every Friday, 7:30 Dallas time. New episode comes out of Dallas Watch. See you then. So long.